What kind of friend am I? I would like to think that I am a friend that is quite dependable. And when I say dependable, in the sense of you can talk to me, you can have good times with me, you can have not so great times with me, as in you can vent to me about good and bad, you can come to me whether things are good and bad. If I have done something to you, you should be able to come and tell me.
Yeah.
And I think I'm quite open-minded and quite, like, let's be honest, as humans we judge.
Yeah.
But I think I don't think I go out of my way to actively be this way. I feel that is who I am. That I'm not too judgmental in that sense. But on the flip side of it, I've had many things over the years where people have said, oh, you've done this or you've done that. Most of the time, I'm not even aware of that. Is things that I'm not even aware that I've done, but people haven't come and spoken to me. Now, whether that's me or that's a them thing, I don't know. Because I think I'm sorry.
No, go.
I feel like most of my friends that are close to me, you should be able to just come and tell me, like, T, you messed up, or you done something, I didn't like it, or da 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 da. But these things have generally come out eventually, but like years down the line, and in my head I'm sitting there going, why didn't you just say that to me? Oh, I didn't know how to say it, or I did. So I'm like, is that me leaving you in a position of not knowing how to say it, or is that you just not knowing how to say it to me?
Yeah.
Because are you this way with everyone, or have you found it difficult to tell me this? But I don't know.
Would you say that you're upfront as a friend?
I think I am, and the closer I am to you, the more upfront I am.
Okay, yeah.
But there are times where I could find a few examples of people to back this where I've done that cruel to be kind. Like, I'm willing to just put your insides out, in the sense of I will get to the nitty gritty. If I can see something beyond what you're saying to me is a problem, I will turn you inside out. But it's not in a negative way. It's a way for you to look inside yourself.
Not in a malicious way.
Yeah. Not for any sort of hurt, pain, or anything like that. It's more of a digging deep. Like, if someone says to me, oh, this is the situation, and I'm like, have you truly looked at maybe your behaviour or the way you've dealt with this? Or we're going to go underneath now. And people tend not to like it, but I'm like, you have to look for the root cause of why you're doing this, or why you've ended up in this situation. And that normally dishevels people a little bit. It makes them feel a bit uneasy. But again, I will always explain to them, there's a purpose why I've done that. I'm not doing it out of any malice. I'm not doing it out of, I feel that I'm better than you. There's nothing other than me trying to help you grow.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, whether they've cried, whether they've not wanted to talk to me for a bit, I'm like, listen, if you need your space after that, do your thing. I'm still here. And it's always been fine. And people have realised, whether they agree with it or not, they've realised what my intentions were.
So would you only take that process with people who you would class as a friend, or like you're close to?
I find that I naturally do it with them, but I think that's also because I care. With people that I have no real connection with, I suppose I don't really care enough. It's not that I wouldn't do it, but I think because the care and relationship isn't there like that, it's hard for me to say I would or wouldn't. But then at the same time, sometimes even with colleagues, I might say, some of my colleagues I can actually say, yeah, they're my friends, because I know in situations I can call on them too, outside of work. Some colleagues are colleagues that you're cool with. But again, it's still not necessarily every single one of them. But then if we're in a position where we have to be speaking up on things, I will say what I need to say. But it's, for me, it doesn't sit the same as me choosing to go to my friend and say X, Y, Z. It feels different for me, although I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I've kind of lost the idea of what a friend is. I would say I've got more connections than friends. And, you know, I think I'll probably find it hard to pick or separate, or just kind of like gather up, oh, those are friends. I think I could do that more so with associates
Yeah.
than friends.
Can I ask though, do you, with the ones that you would class as friends, what's your, for you personally, what's your thing with family?
What do you mean?
Like, okay, we've got family by blood, we all know that. But whether you've got a great relationship with all of them or not is another thing.
Yeah.
But then you've got those that you would say, that's my family or that's my tribe. Do you feel like you've got friends that will fall into that, where you can say, that's my tribe, those are my people, they're more like my family?
Yes.
Do you feel like that could be why you might find it harder to categorize them, because you see them, you've gone past that friendship level with them?
Yeah. So this is the thing, right? As you know, you got family that you're not really like clicked in with, but
You're
it's still
related.
family, right?
You got relatives
Right.
and you got family.
But it's still family, and if shit hits the fan
You're there.
and they needed you, and it's not like something ridiculous,
Yeah.
you would show up.
Yeah.
Right? So I think ultimately I've lost the idea of what a friend is, but it's more so associate / family / tribe kind of thing. And I know what I'm like as a friend, but because I've been isolated for years, I feel like I've not really had the opportunity to show myself as a friend. Bear in mind, I wouldn't necessarily say that I would be the first person to call on because I've isolated myself so much.
Okay.
So yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't think that I could.
So really, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm hearing that people may view you as a friend more than you view yourself as a friend to them.
100%. Even with that, I wouldn't even say that they would view me as a friend.
Just somebody that's dependable.
Maybe, but I'm saying that like I'm not really. I don't feel like I've really got those connections with people to kind of I don't know, like I don't know how they would think about me as a friend, because to me personally, at this point in life, taking into account years that have passed, there's not really been that much activity to like say, oh yeah, like we're like.
But do you think that you can be a friend without that though?
100%.
Because I've learned that over the years, that a lot of people are like, oh, if they're your friend, how come they didn't know this about you? If they're your friend, how come they didn't know that? Why weren't they there when this happened? And you're thinking, your best friend might live across the world, but the things that they need to know, you will ensure that they know.
I tell you what's interesting. I'm very open with, as you know, I'm very open with my thoughts and how I feel and things that I will say. Like, I'd be the first to say a whole heap of shit that no one don't need to know, right? But at the same time, no one really knows anything. If that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so you don't really know anything because we haven't gone there yet, which is why I think I've definitely surpassed the whole friend thing, because if that's the case for the majority, we don't have that thing that would kind of like say, oh yeah, that's my friend, which is why I can't really comprehend the idea of a friend now.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. It's all weird.
Do you know what? I think it's the said and done, the unsaid.
All of it.
The understanding and comprehension.
Yeah.
And the reason why that makes perfect sense to me is because I've said it to many people. People know me as a chatty, bubbly person.
Yeah.
But then people still come to me, oh, I didn't know this here, or how come you didn't say this? And I say, I could sit here talking to you for like 2 hours non-stop.
And you can't know.
And you will know nothing about me.
Yeah.
But it's about what I give you in that talking. What information have I given you? Now, if anything you do know about me will be what you've observed and what you've taken on board. But I could just be speaking to you about, okay, opinions help you to build an understanding of a person's thoughts and characters. But it still doesn't tell you about me as an individual necessarily. So it's like I've given you everything, but I've given you absolutely nothing all at the same time.
Yeah.
You do the same thing.
Yeah.
So for me, there's already understanding. So when you do things, I laugh sometimes. I think it's hilarious because I'm like, this man has just spewed a whole lot of stuff, yeah? And people are watching and still thinking, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Because people can say, oh, he thinks this about that. He thinks that about this. But you, as an individual, you're still the guy in a mask.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're still the guy behind the glasses. You're still, unless they know you, they don't know you. And for even as long as we've been doing this, I can say I've learned a lot, but that's more through observation.
Yeah.
And that's from us having our personal nitty gritty conversations.
Yeah.
But I can see exactly why you're dependable. But I can also see that you're that friend that doesn't need to be around physically. Like you could pick up the phone and I could say, oh, if I was stuck or I had something on my mind and I know I could call you.
Yeah.
I'll be like, what do you think of this?
Yeah.
And then you will say da 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 da. If I can message you and if you haven't physically got the time, you'll be like, you will accommodate. And I don't know if you realise how accommodating you are.
No.
You will say like, T, I can't do today, or I can't do it. What about Thursday?
Yeah.
I'm free from this time to this time. So although it may not fit my schedule, you will still try to say, all right, is it too late? But what's the earliest? What's the latest? So you're still, even all of those things come into aspects of being a friend or being a dependable person, but it's all about your ideology of what a friend is to you.
And I think that's why I'm so lost in the idea of it, because even in me being active as a so-called friend, even in me being active as a so-called friend, I don't penny the things that I do or the ways that I move. Truth be told,
natural to you, that's
I don't take myself serious enough to look at the things that I do to make things happen.
Yeah.
So it's like, what am I doing? Like, what am
You're
I really
just
doing?
that.
I'm just doing, right. So that's why I'm just like...
But I think that's it though, because whatever you do is authentic.
Yeah.
Because you're not analysing it, and this is how I think sometimes I might slip into things on a less positive where things could be done, said or otherwise and I wouldn't know. So I always say to people, guys, if I'm doing something, pull me up. Oh, but T, you're quick to pull me up. Yeah, I'm quick to pull you up because I want you to know that you're doing it. But if you don't tell me, it's going to look like I'm always coming at you. But you're like, well, I didn't tell you when, but why didn't you? You're supposed to.